Hello and welcome to Tutorials by Larry. Today I'm going to show you how to do what I think is one of the coolest features of the Minecraft Create mod. Now, imagine if you have a nice creative world here and you could come into the creative world and build some type of a structure like this and take your time and not have to worry about using scaffolding, and you have the whole palette of blocks available to you. Imagine if you could do that and then take this design and copy and paste it over to your Minecraft SMP world. Well, I'm going to show you how to do that. So the first thing you want to do, obviously, is build your structure, and then go ahead and open up your inventory, and you want to search for something called a schematic and quill. That comes with the Minecraft Create mod. So when you grab that, when you mouse over, you'll see like this little cube shape here. Just go ahead and right click. And as you move your mouse, you see it kind of stretches this out a little bit here. That's probably close enough. I'm going to go ahead and right click again, and that'll lock it in place. Now as you move around and you face each of these sides, you can kind of see how they kind of highlight a little bit. What that does is that will let you adjust the position of that side. So what you want to do is you want to encapsulate this entire structure. So if you look closely there, we're about one block out too far. So if you face this side and you hold down the Control key on your keyboard and you scroll your mouse wheel, you can move it forward and back. And if you're using a Mac, you want to use the Command key. So that's pretty good for the front of it. Now let's go ahead and face the top of this here, and we'll hold our Control key and then size it up to where it covers the top. And we want to just do this basically on all sides of the structure. Okay, that looks pretty perfect. I think we've got the whole thing in there. Okay, the next thing you want to do is you want to go down, basically right click on an empty spot here, and it's going to bring up the ability to create a name for your schematic. We'll call this Windmill 1. And you hit save, and now it is saved to your hard drive. Now the next thing you want to do is to log into your Minecraft SMP server. Okay, now once you're logged into your survival multiplayer world, basically what you want to do is find a place where you're going to put your structure, and you're going to need a few items. You're going to need something called a schematic table, an empty schematic, one book, a Schematicannon, some gunpowder, I recommend probably at least 10, and a chest. 2 chests I actually recommend depending on how much material you need, but you could use a barrel or even multiple barrels if you like. So let me go ahead and show you how to set all this up. Now, the first thing we want to do is we want to get our schematic table, and let's go ahead and place it down somewhere. It's kind of irrelevant where you put it. And then we're going to get our empty schematic and right click on the table, and then you'll see right here a list of all your schematics that you have. So I just have this Windmill 1 that we just created. So we'll take our blank empty schematic and drag it here. And when you're ready, click check. And basically what it did is it took that schematic that's on our hard drive and uploaded it. So it's actually technically on the server now. So go ahead and put this back in your inventory. Now if you have it selected in your inventory, you see this kind of cool setup here. That's the cube, that big giant cube we created with the structure in it. So if you can see in the distance here, I obviously have this windmill a couple times already in my base, but I wanted another one. So I figured that's a good option to demo this for you. So what you want to do basically is find the rough position of where you want to put this, and then just right click it, and you can see it kind of puts the structure right there for you. So even though this is kind of overlapping the schematic table and all that down here, that doesn't matter. It's because it needs to cover the edges of the windmill up there. But this is basically, I think, a good position for it. If you do want to move it around, similar to the way you placed, or the way you created this box, you can then use your mouse wheel, and if you hold down the Command or the Control key, you can move around like so. You can raise it, lower it, all kinds of stuff. So once you're happy with the position of it, and what's kind of cool is that as long as you have the schematic in your hand, you can walk away and it gives you, if you want a bird's eye view of it or whatever, make sure you're totally happy with the position. But I think we got it pretty good on the first shot there. So let's go ahead and call that a done deal. Now, you don't need to do anything at this point. You don't need to right-click it to set it in place or anything like that. Let's just go ahead and open up our inventory. And I'm going to move the schematic out. It's basically locked into the schematic at this point. So I'm going to take the Schematicannon, and we're going to drop it in place somewhere. As long as it's near the structure. You don't want it to be inside of the structure, but somewhere nearby. And just right-click the Schematicannon. And then what we want to do is we want to take our chests and make sure they are touching the Schematicannon. So it doesn't matter where. I'll put them there for now. And then if you right-click on the Schematicannon, you'll see a bunch of interesting things here. So first thing I recommend doing is just shift-click your gunpowder, and it'll put it in the right spot here. And then we want to take our schematic. We'll do the same thing. Just shift-click it. It puts it where it belongs. And then what you want to do is grab your empty book. And if you take this book, drag it up here, you'll see that the book looks like it's an enchanted book now, but it's not. Let's go ahead and take it out of here. We'll put it in our inventory. And if you right-click, the book actually contains all of the ingredients that you need to build this structure. So one thing you should understand is it's not free, right? You still have to gather all the materials and go through that hassle. Well, all that the Schematicannon does is it gives you the opportunity to be creative, take your time designing something, and then when you're happy with it, then you can place it in your multiplayer world. So basically we have to gather all these resources, and when you do that, just place them here inside of the chest. And then what you can do is take your book, drag it back in here, and it will check the inventory of the chest. And what it does is it will, when you right click on the book, it'll sort of check those items off the list. It'll turn them green, saying that you already have them. Okay, let me go ahead and show you how this works here. So you can see I've already been gathering some resources. If I right click on my book, I've already run it through the system here after I put those resources in there. So you can see those all turn green, which means you've already got them. And then these are the ones I still need to gather. So I think I pretty much have all the rest. So let me go ahead and throw those in the chest. And then we will put our book back in here. It regenerates it. And if we right click on the book, everything's green. So we now have everything we need to create our structure. So what we're going to do now is we'll right click on here and just hit the play button. And there you have it. It's really fun to just watch it. Okay, it is all done. So the cool thing about this particular structure is this is actually a create mod build. So it actually functions. Go ahead and turn on the windmill. There you have it. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next Create Mod tutorial.